Gabriela on the scene today with Talk Network Radio. We have a real treat for you just around the corner, and that is Empowered Living with Jeff Byrd. Jeff is the owner of Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and he will be coming to you weekly to teach you more about empowered living.
Hello and welcome. This is Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching, and this is Empowered Living. Thank you so much for joining me today. I want to share with you something that I've entitled The Power of Smal. The Power of Smal. I took it from the title of a book that my wife gave me several years ago, and it was just on my mind recently, and I pulled it back out and was looking at it, and it's all about how small things make a really big difference in people's lives and sometimes in the world around us. I was thinking about that when I was watching The Hobbit recently, and there's a scene where Gandalf tells Galadriel, Saruman believes it is only great power that can hold evil in check. But that is not what I have found. I found it is the small, everyday deeds of ordinary folk that keep the darkness at bay. Small acts of kindness and love. And I have to say, wow, that's the case. I think one of the traps that sometimes we get into is that we're inundated with bad news and big problems and big things, and just it makes us feel so unempowered. We feel that there's only some big thing far greater than us that can make a difference. And we end up without really thinking it through, almost making a subconscious agreement that, wow, this is too big for me. This is what can I do? I can't do anything. I feel inadequate. And because of that, what it does is it makes me feel so unempowered sometimes that I fail to see and to fill the space and do the things that are available to me that can make a difference in the world around me. Mother Teresa once said that if she looked at all the need in the world around her, it would overwhelm her to the point of paralysis, and she would do nothing. She said she could only look at the next child that was in front of her, and if she had resources to help, then she would help that child. And then if she still had some resources or more came in, she would help the next child and the next one and the next one. And one at a time, throughout her lifetime, she ended up changing the face of the world with one small thing, one act of kindness and love, one act of help, one act of thinking about another person and seeing what she had that could benefit them. And in her lifetime, by the time she was near the end, she could take on anything she wanted to do, any project, and she would have huge corporate sponsors from all over the world ready to back it. So that's encouraging to me, because to look at the big picture of the world, and, it's amazing the technology we have, but it also sometimes isn't our friend because it makes us so aware of all the needs everywhere around the world, and we're just overwhelmed with this need. We're asked for too much. We just feel crushed under the weight of it all, and we feel like the whole world is on our shoulders, and wow, what strength do we have to do anything good? And we don't want to miss, because it's so easy to miss the opportunity that's in front of us. And starting small is such a wonderful thing. I was talking to a mentor the other day, and he said, no matter where we start with any area of life, whether it's listening better, whether it's having more hope, whether it's having more self-esteem, whatever goal a person sets, I try to get them to pick a smaller goal because I want them to succeed. I don't want them to pick such a big goal that they fail at it and then they have lower self-esteem and less hope and feel worse about themselves. I want them to succeed, so I want them to pick a small goal first. And I thought, that's just brilliant. That's just brilliant. Pick a small goal. Don't pick such a big goal. Maybe one conversation in your day you'll pick to listen better, more attentively, to maybe once during the day, put yourself in another person's shoes more than you do and listen to understand what they feel like and what it's like to be them. Maybe one time during the day, you'll take a minute and think about what you can do to build hope in yourself. And the things, the difference you made that day that'll build hope for the future. Whatever it is you decide to do, pick a small thing. Pick a small thing each day. And I want to leave you with this story because I think it's so impressive. This is from the book, The Power of Smal. by Linda Kaplan Thaler and Robin Duvall. And they tell the story of a Starbucks barista. And each day she had this customer that would come in, and the customer would pay for her coffee from her spare change. So she would always be saving change, and she would come in each day, and it would take her a little bit of time to count out the change and to pay for the coffee. And while she was doing that, the barista and she became friends. They would talk, and they would just talk about small things. They weren't talking about changing the world. They were chatting about how each other's day had been and what was going on with the weather, what was happening with the dog, the kids, whatever. They would just pick some small thing to talk about. And at one point in time, this customer stopped coming in, and she was gone for a while, and well enough so that the barista missed her and noticed that she wasn't there. But then she came back, and when she came back, she didn't seem like her usual self. The barista could tell that something was wrong. She wasn't as bright. She wasn't as bubbly. She wasn't as cheerful. She wasn't as talkative. And the barista said, well, what's going on? You don't seem like yourself. And the woman said, no, nothing's going on. But the barista wouldn't let it go. And she said, no, seriously, what's happening? You can tell me. And the woman explained to her that she had been having some significant health problems. And in fact, she needed a kidney transplant, and she knew of no one who was a match. Nobody in her family was a match. None of her inner circle was a match. And without this transplant, she was going to die. And it was very hard to get on the waiting list. There was no good assurance that they would get a donor who was the right type of a match in time. And so that barista went and got tested and ended up being a match and donated one of her kidneys and saved this woman's life, all because of something as small as just some random chit-chat over some spare change to buy a cup of coffee at Starbucks. That's so impactful to me, and what the power of something small can do. We can make a difference with a small thing. We never know where that small conversation. Now, true, you probably wouldn't go down greet somebody and reach out to a big guy in a dark jacket in a dark alley, but hey, maybe somebody next to you in the line, maybe you can reach out to them, say, hey, how's your day going? While you're waiting for something, or somebody in a store, or a cashier, or a barista, or anybody, maybe just your family member, but just taking a few extra minutes to tune in to maybe it's just being grateful, or maybe it's listening better, or maybe it's helping somebody else in some small way with something you have. You can't help them with what you don't have, only what you do have. So many of us, we feel like, oh my gosh, I don't have this and this and that and that. I don't have money. I don't have influence. I don't have time. I don't. And the question is, forget about what you don't. What do you have? One time I was volunteering for an overnight homeless shelter project in the winter. And I remember that the person who was kind of doing the original debriefing and or facilitation on that, he was kind of coaching us through what to expect. And he said, listen, y'all are going to be asked for everything. You're going to be asked for housing. You're going to be asked for transportation. You're going to be asked for money. You're going to be asked for jobs. You're going to be asked for all these things. He said, and I'll never forget this, he said, don't feel bad about what you can't give. Feel good about what you are giving. And wow, what an encouragement that is, to feel good. And that's what I want to give you today, is just feel good about what you are doing, the difference that you are making, the benefit to other people that you are providing, even if it's just through an ordinary job. It's still providing service to other people. Or that time you take to say thank you, to say please, to listen a little better, to encourage a little more, to put yourself in the other person's shoes. So those are the encouragements that I have for you today. And know, just like that barista, you never know when that encouragement you give, that little bit of time that you take, that small thing that you do, might make a person's day, or maybe it saves a person's life. You just never know, but we won't find out unless we do it. So let's all take that encouragement and take the lesson from those who have gone before and from our own experiences, and be encouraged to make that difference today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate this time together. And again, I'm Jeff Byrd with Jeffrey Byrd Coaching. My email is jeff@jeffbyrdcoaching.com, and that's JEFF@JEFFBYRDCOACHING.com. And I'd love to hear from you. Please feel free to reach out if you got any questions, if you got any topics you would like covered on here. Please shoot me a line. Let me know what's on your mind. Let me know what you're thinking. I would love to hear from you, and got some new things coming up and that I think you're going to like. So stay tuned for that. And until next time, God bless you.